All right, y'all. It's your boy, the Big Head Dude. Here we go again. As always, please subscribe, like, comment, share. I'm trying to bring to you guys awareness on addiction, inspire hope and recovery, and just try to save people from taking the same path we did. Um, I was just sitting here talking with our next guest about, even though we made some bad choices, we're not bad people and shit, you know what I mean? We still have dreams, aspirations, and yeah, we still live the same life, breathe the same air that everybody else breathes and shit. So I got a new story to tell today. Um, yeah, we're gonna get right to it. What's your name, Miss Lady?
My name is Mary Alice Nunsuch.
Mary Alice Nunsuch.
Mm-hmm.
And where you from?
I was born in California, but my childhood years I was in Mesa. I lived in Mesa, and then all throughout my, adolescent through my teenage years, I was up north in Winslow, Arizona,
In Winslow, Arizona.
and all throughout the northern country.
And you were saying that you were moved through northern Arizona a lot because you were
I was in the foster care system.
in the foster care system. And I was asking you questions about how you arrived in such position. And yeah, let's go there. In your childhood years, your mom and your dad were around?
Yeah, up until my mom was there. So I'm gonna simplify it as easy as I can. From birth until about 6, my mom was there. Great mother, always there. You know what I mean? Instilled a lot of core beliefs as a woman at a young age, and she struggled with addiction too. She struggled with alcoholism, and I believe she did cocaine at one point. But it took a toll on her. Being from the reservation, she was Navajo from up north. She suffered 2 heart attacks and 3 strokes, and within one time period of like a year, I believe. Yeah, a year.
Your mom had 2 heart attacks and 3 strokes within a year.
Mm-hmm.
As a result of
the alcoholism. And being I found out later she was hypoglycemic, which actually was the cause of her going into a coma for almost 2 years. So I think and she was pregnant with my youngest brother. So I think the toll of her being pregnant while stressing over my dad, you know what I mean, and trying to be a mother and being a solid woman, it was hard, overwhelming. So she went in for her first surgery. I think I was 6. She went in for her first surgery, had the surgery, came back, and within 2 weeks later, she was already back in the hospital. And going back to the hospital, I remember the day when she took us, because my dad took off with the only vehicle we had. It was a little truck, S10, and my grandfather had died at the same time, so he had to go back to Louisiana. So he took the ride, and she had to take the bus back to the hospital after having her first bypass. One of the hardest things. Plus, she just had my baby brother, so he's an infant, and she's got us kids. It's hot as fuck, and she's riding the bus back after having a bypass a week before. And then when I think about it, I remember the day looking at her in the bed, and I can remember something was wrong with her, but like I said, my baby brother was just born, so I'm trying to help take care of him. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we take the bus back to the hospital, and she goes in. I don't see her that was the last time I seen my mom actually walking.
So that last time she went in the hospital, very sadly, she didn't make it back out.
No, she didn't. the next time I seen her, she was in a coma. She didn't remember who we were. We were told she had a mitral valve transplant, and we didn't even know shit. They didn't even know what we were doing. Us kids were doing in the damn hospital.
Right.
And we were there for 2 days. You know, and finally when CPS came, they're like, "Where's your mom?" And we're like, "She went in them doors, and she never came back." Well, come to find out, they had already flown her out to Tucson, and she was here at the UMC.
And you guys were at the hospital by yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Your dad wasn't there.
Dad wasn't there, so they ended up taking us to like a shelter, I guess I want to say, or like a little. It was a facility that they held kids. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because they couldn't find my dad. My mom was out of it. You know. And I know we were there for a week, and they finally got a hold of my dad, and he ended up coming back because my grandfather Mac had passed away, so he shot back down and got us out of that place.
Right. And so, when your dad came back down, did you guys come to Tucson? Or
No.
When did you? Go ahead.
We stayed in Mesa. My mom had a house. I'm not sure if it was from the tribe, or I'm not sure how they had the house. I think it was from the tribe, but she had a house, and we stayed with him there, you know, and we stayed with him there, and but at this time I'm like 7, and I'm taking care of my little brothers. I have 2 little brothers too.
Right.
I'm the only girl. And I'm watching my dad. Let me say, before all this happened, my dad, I'm the only girl. I used jumped hurdles. I was runner. You know what I'm saying? So he was all about being there on my side. They used to call me the A train. You know what I mean? So they used to be like, I don't know where shit fucked up at, but shit changed because he just started fucking beating me, you know?
This was after you lost your mom.
This is after she was sick.
Right.
By this time she's in a coma, you know what I mean? So he's dealing with all this shit. Now that I think about it, I never thought about what he felt, you know? I just automatically wanted to go to the negative.
The fuck, Mary?
So I apologize, y'all. We have minor disturbances, but we good. So to fast forward a little bit, you lost your parents at an early age.
In a sense, you know, my mom was sick. She was in a coma. You know what I mean? And my dad gave up. And gave up in a sense he couldn't. I think he got overwhelmed. 3 kids. Lost the solid woman in his life. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I mean solid to the point to where she was driving to Florence with TVs in the back of the car, like, you know what I'm saying, every prison stint, you know what I mean, to where he was coming home with panties in his trench coat, and she was still there for him. So my mom was a solid ass female. She rode for him. He didn't have that no more. You know what I mean?
So I definitely understand the pain and the hurt there. So you said that your dad had dropped you guys off. Run that by me again.
Oh, so I say after he sold the house and put us in a fucking 1-bedroom apartment and still couldn't do it. You know, he was a janitor. You know, he's a felon, so he couldn't find no real good jobs. He ended up calling my mom's family to come and pick us up, because I guess he just couldn't do it, you know. And I remember. No, wait. Let me rewind. So we ended up going back into CPS, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because my dad had took off for 2 weeks, and my aunties had came down from up north, and we didn't have no fucking food in the house.
Yeah.
And I remember my brothers were eating. I was feeding them cereal. You know what I mean? But we went across the street because I had this best friend across the street named Beverly, and my dad always told us not to go in the house. You know what I mean? But this time we were going in the house. You know what I mean? Because we were there home alone. So we were doing what the fuck ever. Well, they called CPS. You know what I mean? Because it's just this kids. Plus, I got this infant baby, my baby brother.
Right.
You know what I mean? That I'm trying to care for. And I'm only like 8 years old.
Wait, you said your dad told you not to go in. He told you not to go out the house?
He told us not to go inside houses. Like, if we would go play at a house, he told us not to go inside.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? But we were going inside the house because he wasn't around. You know
Right.
what I mean?
So you were going to get food for you and your brothers and siblings.
Yeah.
And so you said that your auntie had came down at one point and just noticed the...
We were hungry. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was eating sticks of butter. You know?
eating sticks of butter down. And so how did CPS get involved? Your auntie called them?
I'm not sure if she called them, but they got involved. So we ended up going back to that place I had told you we were at.
Right.
And we were there for a good minute.
What was that like, just being in that kind of environment?
It was awful because I didn't know what was going on with my mom. My baby brother had went to a whole nother home, you know? And I remember at the time, I used to have dreams about him. I used to have dreams that he was getting hurt. You know what I'm saying? I used to have dreams that he was, I don't know why I would always have dreams that he was getting eaten by a dog.
Yeah.
And I had that for the longest time, you know what I mean? And because I was there for him through while he was an infant, you know what I mean? And so for them to split us up like they did, and by this time, I think my resentment started growing because me and my brother would fight like cats and dogs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or maybe it was the fact that emotions were so high.
I could understand that.
So I couldn't tell you what we were feeling back then, you know what I mean? Now that I understand emotions to a certain extent,
You could only imagine what you were feeling.
yeah.
And how you feel now about it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand. When did the foster homes start popping up?
So foster homes started popping up real early in my childhood, along with me starting to dibble and dabble in alcohol. You know, my dad was telling me to go get beers for him from the fridge, and while I'm getting him a beer, I'm getting a beer for myself when I started, you know what I mean? Putting it under the sink.
You were telling me too, you were like cleaning up the house or cleaning up stuff
and drinking the leftover beers.
Right.
You know? Because my addiction all started with alcohol.
And so
Real young.
I mean, experiencing the loss and experiencing the pain that you had when you were little, was alcohol like a relief, like something that made you feel good, or what was it?
I know it took me out of that lost mode, you know, because not knowing what was going on, I really didn't understand what was going on with my mom until we had to go and see her here in Tucson and in the coma, you
Right.
know, and them telling us that she didn't remember who we were,
I understand
and that
that.
she was quadriplegic.
Your mom went from strong, healthy to in a coma. I feel you.
Yeah, she was only 29 when it all happened to her.
And so the alcohol was like, whew, kind of a feel good. You said, make me not feel lost. It was. And so, how many different foster homes did you go through?
So, I was in the foster care all the way until I was 18.
All the way until you were 18.
Yeah, I mean, if that means, after from 16 to 17, 18, I ended up getting locked up in juvie.
Right.
So from the age of 8 to 16, I was in foster care. 13 foster homes.
What were the environments like in the foster homes?
I'll tell you about a few of them. I mean, as I got older, you know, going from different houses to house, when you're that young and in age, and they have their own kids, and then you come in as a foster child, you get treated differently. You know, they were getting clothes from the mall while we were getting clothes from Walmart. You know what I'm saying? And that just went to go through out my whole child, even with my own family, my mom's family. You know what I mean? And I think the worst one was in Sholo. I ended up going to a foster home out of juvie right before Christmas. And I had built chips on my shoulders from being so angry and not understanding shit. That I think I was like 11. No, I was 11. And I was going there before Christmas, and they had gave us some hot chocolate. And I was just like, I don't fucking want this shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even want to be here.
Yeah.
You guys are all fucking jolly and shit, and I'm what do I really have to be jolly for? You know what I mean? And I just threw the hot cocoa everywhere. And I remember because I ended up running away. I ran away from every foster home. I ended up running away and going to the Kmart trying to steal, and I got caught. So I ended up right back in juvie.
Would you say you were comfortable, like?
Being locked up?
Yeah.
I think I was comfortable not being... I wanted my family.
Right.
And I think I was just comfortable not being... Just being, you know what I mean?
Right.
Just... I was lost. I was lost at a young age.
And this whole time, you're drinking.
I'm drinking. Just stealing different beers, bottles, everywhere I can get it.
Man, if you guys could tell, like I'm in my emotions over here, y'all. You guys know I usually do good with these questions and shit, but I mean sometimes the pain is real and shit. I feel for you. Definitely have empathy for this. So at 18, when you get out of, you said you got out of juvie when you were 18?
Yeah, I was in Black Canyon.
And so when you got out of juvie at 18, now you're an adult.
I'm an adult.
You don't have to go to any more foster homes.
Nope.
What did you do?
I got legally fucked up. I mean,
What do you mean?
So I turned 18. I went back to my family, the fucked up family that my dad had picked us up, you know what I'm saying? That gave us up to the foster care.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because after my dad, we were in foster care, he had my family pick us up. And then my family, my mom's family, that call themselves a tight-ass family, I mean, they didn't really give a fuck about us fucking half-breed kids. We were the only half-breed kids in that fucking native family, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're going from family to family, then foster home, family to family, you know what I mean? And they're treating us like we're fucking aliens, you know what I mean? All throughout my childhood. So I built up resentment for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think I still do a little bit, you know what I mean? And that's being honest. So I went back over there and just was a monster. You know, just showed my ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm 18, y'all can't do shit to me. I can be a legal asshole by nature. You know what I mean? So, and that's how I acted. I straight acted like that. You know what I mean? Just getting fucked up, being an ugly person, being, you know what I mean, blaming them for everything. And I mean, although some of them were fucked up, you know what I mean? And my little brothers went through some shit there. I don't know what they got going on in their head, you know what I'm saying? I had no right treating them like that, but at that time, I was justified.
That's how you felt. Was nobody gonna tell you different?
Mm-hmm.
Understandably. And so, did you get in more legal trouble afterwards?
Yep.
In this whole time, would you say that are you like an alcoholic? Are you battling
I'm an alcoholic, full blown.
Drinking every day.
Yeah, I'm drinking E&J bottles. You know what I mean? The brandies. I used to walk around with one of those in my bag.
Yeah.
Um,
What kind of legal trouble did you start getting into?
it's from the built up emotions and pent up emotions and shit. Because, mind you, when my dad started hitting on me when I was younger, he would tell us not to cry.
Mm-hmm.
And not only my little brothers, they were younger than me, so I'm not letting them get hit. So anytime that it was time for a whooping to come, he'd say, touch your toes. When it was time for that, I was taking their legs. You know what I mean? So I got this hard shell now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have no emotions by this time. My emotions are numb. So I'm fighting a lot. I'm walking around making a name for myself, fighting. You know, just walking around with this big cloud over me.
Fighting like people in the street, whoever.
You know, just got this big stigma over me. You know, it's negative.
Right.
And start running with the wrong people. Start doing shit, stealing cars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then I finally get caught up stealing a car. No, wrong. So 18, 19, 20 is when I first caught my first felony. I got caught for, I stole a car, but I didn't get caught. I got caught, but my first felony was aggravated assault on a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
My little brother, he was in a group home and he ran away and called me. So I told him come up to me, you know?
Right.
And at this time I had that stolen truck, driving it around, drinking. Started messing with my baby's dad.
Mm-hmm.
Piece of shit. Mm-hmm. And they ended up catching me. Well, they take my brother out, yank him out the car, and bash his face into the windshield.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how. And I tell myself every day I'm so lucky, and I thank God that I didn't pull that trigger, because I got the gun out of the holster.
You had a gun.
And I put it to the officer's head.
Tell him to get off your brother. And what happened from that altercation?
I went to jail. I sat in jail for almost a year, and then they dropped the charges. It was recorded. My cousin recorded it. My older cousin recorded it, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I think it was God, honestly,
right.
Because of the whole situation at hand. But I just got out to be drinking again, running around with my baby's dad. I wasn't pregnant at the time.
Right.
But with him, he was abusive.
From one abusive situation to another. I feel you.
And me seeing my mom ride for my dad for so long, you know what I mean?
You were riding for
This motherfucker.
Yeah.
And even through his prison stints or whatnot, doing everything, you know what I mean? And this motherfucker used to fuck me up. I mean, that's why he kicked me with a steel-toe boot. My eye hit me with a hatchet in the back. When I was pregnant, he hit me in the back with a crowbar. Like, tried to drive me off the road, this motherfucker, until I ended up fucking stabbing and torturing him. You know, I stabbed him 7 times and tortured him. And I went to prison.
How long were you in prison for that?
5 years.
5 years?
But before that, I was into meth and hardcore meth.
I was going to ask you, did you progress from alcohol?
All throughout that time.
When did it upgrade from alcohol to meth?
I think I was 19.
19?
Yeah. I had dibbled and dabbled with it before, but I didn't really know anything about it. You know what I mean? I did my research on it first.
Right.
And then up in Winslow, you know what I mean? You don't really get good shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's stepped on. So I knew I had to get to the, you know what I'm saying? To the,
quality stuff.
yes.
Not that we are promoting drugs, but
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so 18, 19, 20, how long did you have a meth addiction?
I mean, I still got the meth addiction.
Right. we in recovery now,
yeah,
but
we're in recovery, but I started when I was 19, full blown 19. I mean, shit.
Was your baby daddy, was he battling? Did he have an addiction?
Alcohol.
He was drinking.
Bad alcohol.
Right.
Bad alcoholic.
So you got locked up for 5 years for stabbing him 7 times and torturing his ass. When did you get out? How old were you when you got out of that incarceration?
I went in when I was 24 and got out when I was 24. When I was about to turn 28 or 29.
And 28, 29, when you get out, you're free again. Reset button. What did you get into? Where'd you go from there?
I got out with my ex-wife, and she was from here.
From Tucson.
Yep. And that's what brought me here.
Came down to Tucson.
And I got out. I was on parole and became an alcoholic again. Because while I was locked up, my mom passed away.
Okay.
So she came out of the coma. She was quadriplegic. You mean her mindset was of a 6-7 year old. So the whole time I'm going through all this, you know what I mean?
Right.
While having my dad live 2 streets away from me in fucking Winslow, not fucking doing shit for us, living with a fucked up my family that's supposed to love us, you know what I'm saying? But all kinds of shit's going on. You know what I mean? I went through so much shit. I got raped by my uncle, you know what I mean? So they cut off my beautiful hair. I was just going through some shit. You know what I mean? And he was just 2 streets away. He never even fucking... I got to a point to where I was just... I would see him driving in his Cadillac and I would hide.
Yeah. You would hide from your dad. See him coming down the block and you would hide.
Yep.
Why?
With knowing... And
Why?
There's a resentment, I think. I think it was the resentment I had, and he just gave up.
So you went back to drinking when you got out.
I got out, went back to drinking because I didn't get to mourn my mom. I didn't get to go and say goodbye. You know, and when I did, it was a fucked up situation. You know what I mean? I was
Dealing
in
with
the
that
hole.
pain.
I was in the hole, but I was on parole. You know, so.
Did you get any more legal trouble after that?
Yeah.
Well,
So.
Go ahead.
I started meeting my wife at the time. I got us a house. I completely finished parole by the hair of my chinny chin chin, you know what I mean? And I started selling coke right here on 29th and Craycraft. Came up pretty big, but you know, you never come up and stay up, you know? And at the time, she wasn't she was supporting, like she was supportive, but she was supportive of the money and the lifestyle.
Your wife you're talking about.
Yeah. And me coming out of the relationship with my baby's dad and having all this hurt, and I thought because I had met her around the time that I lost my mom, that, you know what I mean, she was in my life for a reason, so to speak, you know what I mean? And just a justification.
Right.
You know, I just wanted somebody to love me, not being, you know, being given up on at a young age and not being loved. You think you're going to be loved by these family members or these foster homes, and
Doesn't happen.
nah. It's just another way to fucking get money, I believe. You know what I mean? And as far as my family, you know what I mean? I just don't think they knew how to deal with the fact that we were half-breeds, honestly.
This is what you feel.
That's what I feel. We were different. You know, I was different.
Right.
I think they were scared of it. I can see why now they were scared of it, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I'm a strong ass bitch. I mean, strong ass female, you know what I mean? But they couldn't. They turn, if it, say, if they were to sit right here and I would tell them how I felt, they would turn their back, you know what I mean? And act like they would turn their cheek, you know what I mean? Because they can't take it. That's a coward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They got
Man.
coward ways. They got, you know what I mean? So I just the streets became my family.
I feel you. When we can't find the love we feel we deserve, we find it by other means.
Yep. Or we find it in motherfuckers that don't love us back the right way. You know what I mean?
We think it's love, but it's not. I feel you. Man, girl, I want to give you a big hug. I definitely feel the pain, and I see how you still, like, it's on the mind today, and you hold these resentments and such. I was gonna ask you about the last time you got caught up, but I think we've pushed a point into like understand like how an addiction could be sparked, you know, and how we get lost sometimes and such, not by choice but just by life.
Life definitely puts you in addiction, you know, especially when you don't have the resources or you don't have the support to be there for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something traumatic. I think a lot of my addiction sparked from childhood trauma.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and childhood trauma is the worst, I think. You know, and then it was a domino effect after that. You know what I mean? Because not only did it start from the trauma, but I didn't get to tell anybody the things that I had held in. You know what I mean?
Nobody will listen.
Nobody would listen. It was just put her here, put her there, put her. You know what I mean? Oh, she's level 5. She's therapeutic. She's this. She's that. And how the fuck are you guys telling me that I'm all this and I'm not saying shit? You guys are just either pushing me off to somebody else or you're just locking me up.
Classifying you without even asking questions.
And that's where a lot of shit comes.
Especially as a young female. Man, I'm gonna give you a big hug after this, girl. Miss Mary. So where are you at now today, mentally? Like, what's up?
Mentally today, I've learned to accept and understand my addiction, and I've learned to accept who I am as a person. I've learned to accept that maybe the things in my past life, the people that I want to feel my pain, the people that I want to ask all these questions to, why, how, for what, you know what I'm saying, what's the reasons, I may not ever get them answers, but I know I gotta walk for me. I gotta put that right foot in front of that left for me. You know what I mean? The things in my past, I can't let it dictate my life no more. You know what I mean? And that's what I was letting all that pain speak for me. But now I have my voice. I'm able to walk. I'm able to stand. You know what I mean? I'm a woman of integrity, and I'm an honest and loyal woman. You know what I mean? And I'm a woman before anything. You know what I mean? And can't nobody take that from me like everything else was taken from me.
If you could get those answers, would you even try to seek them? Are those of value to you?
No.
No?
Not no more. I don't need them.
You found answers by other means, more positive, lucrative answers.
Yep. The universe gives me my answers now. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
My mother walking in spirit gives me my answers now.
Amen. Are you in any kind of legal trouble today?
I am. I have a pending case right now, but you know what? I leave it all in my higher power's hands, in the universe, you know? I know that I'm doing the right thing, and I'm going to continue doing the next right thing. And with that being said, the right thing's going to come back to me. I believe in karmic power.
And so, we're not drinking anymore. Today you're clean.
I'm clean 102 days. Today.
102 days.
Yep.
Already. And we're in recovery, right?
And I'm in recovery. And I'm going to continue living a recovered life. Always be an addict with understanding, though, you know?
Right.
I think a lot of addicts don't understand their disease. I think a lot of addicts don't really get to the nitty-gritty of it, you know what I mean? And figure out what they got to do. They got to peel back them layers. We're like onions, you know what I mean? We're basically like babies, so to speak, if you want to get technical. Once you get down to the nitty gritty of it and start building that foundation again,
Right.
you break all that shit down. I had the stigma from prison for a long time. I finally dropped that shit.
Feeling like institutionalized.
Yeah.
Like that was home, more comfortable there than out here. Don't want to get locked up no more, huh? I feel you.
I'm too good of a person. That's not for me. That turns me into a whole nother person, and I'm not trying to be that person anymore.
Just by means of like survival in there. I feel you.
And I have a daughter out there that I want to, rekindle my relationship with her and show her how much of a dependable, honest woman I can be. She did see that at one point, and regardless of the shit that she's been told or whatnot, she'll come around, but
Right.
I want her to be able to know that I came about that. You know what I mean?
That's good. Your future, what do you want to do with your future?
My future, honestly, I either want to become a fitness trainer or open a candle shop, like aromatherapy. I'm getting real into self-awareness and meditating and all that, so I kind of want to get into that field, or being of service to people. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say, why a candle shop?
A candle shop because it's something about the scent in the universe, and just to make you feel better,
Right.
like aromatherapy type shit. You know what I mean? Or oils or something. You know what I mean? If we could do it with cannabis, I would love to. But
Right.
off the record.
And why fitness training?
Fitness trainings because I've always been athletic. You know what I mean? And
You said that they used to call you A-Train. Why they called you A-Train?
because I started jumping, I used to run. I used to jump hurdles. I started jumping hurdles when I was like 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
So, and my uncle was a big time runner, so I used to run with him, and I used to be the top of that train, the lead of that train, running them hurdles.
Said the girl got quick feet. That's what's up. So I'm starting to ask 2 questions, and I don't know what these 2 questions mean to me, and I don't know why I'm asking them or whatnot, but I feel they're of some value. If you had a time machine and you could speak to your future self, what would you go tell your future self?
That I need to continue to believe in myself and live the life I deserve. Don't squander anything else and any more of myself for past fuck ups, or people's past fuck ups. And stop looking behind me and look forward always.
Stop looking behind you and look forward. Amen to that. And the second question I'm gonna change to any young ladies out there struggling, just finding who they are. What message do you have for them?
Remember your worth. You're worth everything, and always going to be worth anything that's out here. Just listen to your intuitive mind. Dig deep down within. If you're really going through something, get help. Don't continue to be out there. Don't continue. It's dangerous. And if you can't get help, then drop to your knees.
Amen. I really appreciate you being vulnerable and giving us a little bit of insight on where you came from, where you at, and where you're going. Again, I like doing these videos just again to just tell a story. Like I said in the beginning, we made bad choices, but we're not bad people. And some of these bad choices we didn't want to make them. it's just a way life has of dealing its cards sometimes, you know. We still have a spirit. Our heart still beats, you know, our blood's still red, and we want better for ourselves. Sometimes it's hard to find that better, you know, and sometimes it's hard to find ourselves and shit, you know.
But it's possible.
It's possible. I appreciate you sitting down with us today, like I said, and being vulnerable. My heart goes out to you. Like I said, I'm gonna give you a big hug right now. You giving me courage to get on here and tell my story. I haven't told my story yet. We're gonna wait for that though. Give me 1,000 subscribers. 1,000 of y'all subscribe, and I'll tell my story. There it is. That's what we're gonna do. But again, like, share, comment. Give this to one of your loved ones if they're battling with addiction, battling finding that love, you know, battling finding themselves or whatnot.
Yeah, let's end the addiction. It's
And
such an
spread the
epidemic, you know
awareness.
what I mean?
It's crazy out here. Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
Peace.